I just like to rhyme, honestly. Ever since I picked it up at 13 after Lose Yourself, that's when I really got into it. That just inspired me because I don't know why. Because let's put it this way, wasn't a bit, I wasn't an avid listener of rap. I didn't really get into so much rap because, during to the nature of what I listened to as a kid, it was more pop, rock, and stuff like that. So, but the thing is, I wasn't into listening to gunshots, kill this, negative, fuck you, this, that, fuck you, bitch. I wasn't into all that. And I thought that was just nonsense talk. That's almost like nonsense talk to accommodate nonsense talk. So I wasn't really getting the vibes from it. But I always wanted to do music. It was something about music. I just had to do. I had to do something. I didn't care what it was, but I had to do something with music. Producing, playing an instrument, being in a band, and rapper never came across my desk. But by the time I was 13, Lose Yourself came out, 8 Mile came out, and Eminem was the wave. That white nigga was the wave at those times. I think that was the peak of his prime. I think. So, um, I dove into hip hop history. Like, I dove deep in it. Like, once I got in it, I got in it. It's like I heard Lose Yourself. I recorded it on a cassette, off the radio that my pops bought me a long time ago. I was just to record music, songs I liked on the radio. So I remember I played that song and I finally recorded it, and I kept hearing it over and over again, over. And I'm just like, palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. The way that delivery, Mom, it's better already. Mom's spaghetti. He's nervous, but on the surface, like the way it came out, it was like so fluent. Like it was like so smooth. It was like so, like you said, magic. It was just like a smooth, constructive way of addressing words that just stood like wind. It's just like just flow through. Tumbleweed just flows on through. He made it look so easy, and yet he made it look so crazy. Like, I mean, there were people way beyond him, obviously, but that was when I really got into rap. So even when I got into Tupac, Biggie, I was like, okay, I listened to them to a point that I dissect the flow, dissect their technique, dissect their patterns, their mind state, whatever. But Biggie was always been simple. Like, he's a very simple. Like, he made it look really easy, on the grounds of the way his voice projected and the flow he used. He could just lay back on a relaxed day and kick something nice just because his flow is so laid back that you can build off easy, you know? It's like, who the fuck is this? Paging me, your 546. You can take that flow and just check it like, you know how it goes. Well, my stilo, my niggas on the corner on the block, selling like rock, bro. Just before I caught me in the land, nigga, understand that the knocks across the park. That the iron in, zeroing in, going down the pyramid. Knowing that I never slept with the other bitch, and then from a man's, and then I got the text, so work would be inducted, and now it's out of plans, and now it's, some shit like that. So anyway, you could take, like, I use Biggie's flow just for practice, and I'll use speed rapping just to practice sounding like rhymes, like if I say the fourth fifth and the fourth fifth is locked in the end, one shot in the miss, competition wouldn't miss, dismiss the fact that you can't detest who is the best. If you could digest the lessons that I'm setting in, not a trend elevating for you to follow in, but narrow in on all the events that I narrow down in, knowing I'm the top journalist from Brooklyn representative, young Puerto Rican, but why the fuck is that important? But no, take it as a kid, knowing how to miss the way that I often hit, know at the hit but never miss. I'm on my Drake status, more lyrically acclaimed to a sing for commercials. I just want to say that plain. The grass may be plain on the other side of the fence. Doesn't mean I'm curious to understand what's on the other side of it. If you don't see what's behind the fence, then don't even be curious, because that killed the cat. I'm just letting y'all niggas be warned about it. So I stumble because I'm always racing with my mind. As you can see, like, a vocab will be there. If I wrote, it would have been different. Matter of fact, if I wrote, it would probably be more constructed. But since I'm the anti-construction, I'm more like, do you? Because you have so much rules, and you gotta understand, when you're in the game, in music or whatever, there are rules. You making a mixtape and you're starting out, that's just trying to prove your potential, if your attention, if you could get attention, if people could use you, image-wise, the way you sound-wise, and this, that. Once you get in the game, you're not really writing the things you want to do. I mean, at first they let you rock because, that you do you. Let me get the idea that you could do what you want. Basically, bask in it, let it become you, and then you'll be able to want it forever. So when it comes to business profits, everything revolves around the times. Everything revolves around the times, and no matter how you look at it, from music, sports, war, fights, enemies, country war against country, not, shit like that. It all revolves around the times of who said it, who started, and this will be the new, what you call, arc. Like in a season. This is season this, the Corona attack, political debates. This is the arc that's gonna be for a while. So we're still fighting this bullshit. We got new diseases. We got another dumb president or the same dumb president. Doesn't really freaking matter. Either way, it's just like, I try to stay in my lane. I talk about what I feel like I want to talk about, and it just inspire levels of skills. I'm not trying to set the trend up. I'm not trying to stir shit up. I'm not trying to start a riot and play things. What I feel is what I feel. But you know what? Unless you have a higher influence, no one's really listening. And I spit so much shit rapid that it's hard for you to listen, and because I can't articulate, because I'm trying to flex the word to a point that it very like fits it out. It's more like synthesis, except for competitions miss. Competitions miss and often get competitions miss and often get the misconception that they can actually perfect the level of the skills as long as they progress, but the check is looking good, so why even put that to the test? So, like what Daylight said, and I always knew this. I think I respect him a lot more because I know we have like the same wavelength. Rap is conversation. It's just a talk with rhyming. That's all it is. It's only a song where you're on radio and you have to follow a specific formula. But freestyle rapping or rapping was never a constructed thing. It was just rhythm, skill, rhyming. Rhythm, skill, rhyming, delivery. Most importantly, delivery. People gotta feel where you're coming from. Do you feel when I drop these tons? Understand I don't do this for funds, I do this for funds. Way before the meals have begun, I had to take my run. Grab that gap, hold that clip, do this shit the way my pops once did. But now it's a sadistic mind, elevated through the test of time. DNA stranded, affected, and now it's going in the mind. Young little guy, only reached 3, knowing that I hope he never sees the tragedies that I done seen. Other type of qualities that's given in the streets, but you better on the rules or the rules will take you be. The beast within never was awakened. The human attention savagely had been forsaken, but now instance from harsh experiences that are evoking the beast, now you're gonna see a different part of me. Now it's just a product of my environment, where my friends are often feeding me in and what I'm misguided in. Misguided plans or my insecurities and the fact that I could never have a grand to pay the rent to the house that I live. Understand that the situation you're placed in involves the situation. I'll level the opinions depending on your desperation. So your opinions lacked, but now you're losing your balance. So now are you gonna go ahead and try to do shit with and like you're headless? But I guess you can't detest the masses. The system made to build, and yet not built for you to fail. But it all depends how you feel to yourself as well. If you feel yourself leaving well, then I know you could prevail. But the idea is trying to make sales. Fuck the nice guy approach. That's the approach in business. That emotional shit set aside. You should often live this, even though I know you're good-hearted and you want to help. But the fact is, you'll never be rich if you're gonna go that route. So now, the places that we at now is challenging your goodwill to your shifted ideologies. In terms of philosophy, trying to find the balance of what you really be. Understand your personality is not a personality, just a compilation of ungathered information throughout your surroundings. Practice heavily. Throughout the years, the constantly saying served words becomes automatic, almost like an automatic correct when you decide to text it. So understand if I'm not on the guest list, it's because I speak the real shit. The fact is, you can't market or endorse it because the fact it doesn't bring no revenue or endorsements. So my endorphins still blow up, and why I stay focused. So I don't need the Percocets to be digested, and also for me to rip this. So off the head, I proved to be a more stylist forensics, more and then a guinea pig of an experiment. They probably gonna want my brain like they did John F. Kennedy. But maybe I'm just behind my time. I'm just reaching that time where that time is already over. Just to show that there's no one going over the head, because when I'm throwing these boulders, it's the same as getting hit by these balls when I'm throwing it on you. By far, ain't no one reaching mine for sword. The certain style that I'm on is like living by the sword, dying by the sword. I live what I'm telling, I live what I speak. And if it's not, I thoroughly admit that it's something that I experienced from another homie. So don't hold me. They're not just a compilation of cheap conversation. There's a more of a body of level of skills to raise your awareness. Knowing the direction road that I've taken, I've been forsaken. But the only thing that stood intact was the soul that they left me with. Goal and passion was still there, attention still kind of there, but now my perception shifted to show you that I'm Colossus God around here. This to show y'all that y'all can persevere, especially if you're thinking wise. If you wanted to test the times to think you're going against this guy with the orphan eye to try to look inside the deepest soul that you hold, knowing that somewhere's a childish mind, a self-esteem that usually on the 3% line. He said, so what do I do this for? Compilation, retribution, attention. To be honest, that's like all of the above selections. But what I just mentioned, why do I do this? Do I really need to expose myself and show all these secrets just to wrap it in a way that sounds so exquisite? Or that's just me taking all these things that I learned and try to rip it, try to squeeze it like lemons, and trying to hope that it made me riches. I guess my ambition to business just highly shifted. If it gave me that 15 advancement, I'll probably take it. Spend the first check, pop a couple Benz, just to have a good time while out, crash into a fence, just to send it back, just to trade it in for another BM, and probably go ahead and do the same shit again. Nigga, you rich. That's just how it is. Money creates freedom. The possibilities be endless. Drake got a plane. Kanye got a pool. Drake is bigger, but I never been there though. So I take the Jay-Z approach with a hostile state of mind. A hustler televised for the life I'm living by. So any lifestyle that I had was tossed aside just because I gave my life to the game and to the rhymes. Which, so every mic I hold is like iconic. Put it on eBay, a couple thousands. Knowing that I'm burning up the highland, taking mileage. This is a clash of the titans. You want a demigod level. It's like being on the basketball. I fucked up. Anyway, I spit a lot. So I done this just because it was fun and it was just beautiful to me to just do it. And then it became more of a passion for actually matching styles. Then it became more competitive in terms of skill level, not so much of battling. Like battling is battling, but I think people get the perception of battling is about dissing your person. It's like not about dissing. Don't get me wrong. To diss is pretty hard to put in sentences sometimes, especially if you have some information and you got to try to break it down in some particular verbs or different ways to express it, finesse it. Gun bars is always hard because people like guns for some reason, It's a manly thing, I think, You make you a man, you have to catch a body, some shit, depending on your environment. But to be a man, to me, is just living the way you want to. To be anything, just living the way you want to. It's very hard. No matter what, you're always going to be compelled to do things that probably against your best interest. Maybe it would just work, but you know what? You can't always be like, okay, I'm just gonna do this. Okay, I'm just gonna do this. You know what? I'm bored. I'm just gonna stuff people. You can't have that. You can't. You gotta have more control of your baser instinct. This is why we got so many things to try to fuel that energy to something else. Violence is not the answer. We're just so more exposed to it now that it's just becoming. It will soon become a logical thing. We're just gonna go back to that savageness, but a very intellect, disciplined mentality. People secretly like to see people hurt. They keep that savageness is partially awakened, but not fully awakened, but it's there, and it's very mean, only because of what we're seeing, what we're dealing with. We really don't trust people, we really don't this, that. So we have this little demon that's now peeking in. Most people haven't excelled or there yet. Some people are just a little bit more out than others, but you have to have control of your own demons. Now, even adults, no matter how experienced they are, there's that. Only some are very tolerant and some are not tolerant, depending on your level of skills. But to me, everyone's still young. I don't care how old you look. I don't care how time make your face look. You're still babies. You're still babies. You only got 100 years left, less in this existence. Not enough to really value, take in, learn, accept things, because things take years and years of practice, and we don't have the time. So, what is the purpose of the species? To keep going, because we die quick. Keep on sprouting. So for y'all to have kids, most respect. I just hope you treat them right, so the next generation is on a different wave. But it's just hard, So anyway, music is me. Like, no matter if I did it for a living, get paid for it or not, it's just me. It's a part of me. It would never leave. So I don't need to be acknowledged as one of the top best MCs. Like Eminem feels like he's not, but let's put it this way: if he thought that he was, he probably had no reason to fucking rap anymore. Him telling that he's not accepted or he doesn't feel this way keeps him motivated to try because he feel like still has to reach for an approval or something. But we already know what you could do, my nigga. You know, you kill motherfuckers. You know, the same. Like I got that intention from him. I just like to rap with niggas just to see where our skills level is at. And if you are better than me, I need to adapt to it. I need to learn. You know. But as of right now, as long as I go off the head, I don't feel niggas are seeing me on their best day, you know, because I could advise something real quick in a minute, real sharp, real quick, you know, while you going and rehearsing and all that shit, you know. My shit is on the spot all the time, knowing that I could come off my head off the fly, so you better zip up. I ain't talking about your lips and your pants up. Listen, I could give two fucks what you represent, son, because the fact is, when I'm giving, it's just not enough. Given a fact, whether I'm coming off a strand of a higher entity, in fact, that was left behind to theologically soil that wasn't buried in years and time. So now, something to subside and survive and somehow surface to get into a newer heights, newer mind, state of wise. But life is like a roll of dice for paradise, because as long as it has a price on it, you probably won't even see that life. We go by bloodline and status. Things will never change, you just have a different way of trying to segregate it. Money for controlling, currencies that you're holding. Everything is balanced and capped in the way that they feel what your worth is. Trillions of dollars, beyond belief, believe it exists, is out there, B. Liquidated form, but know that the shit is on a different higher note. I don't care how it goes, I don't care what you've been told. It's playing on a higher scale of rules that you probably never know. So, as long as your soul is still willing to go, try to make a move. Try to do whatever inspires you to be you. Because everyone's out there trying to make a grand. That's just a living that tries for survival. That's a newer way of instincts and just how we got to do to get through. Through harsh reviews, through harsh stares, can't compare that you put your mind into senseless things out here. Like, why you breathe the air you breathe. I never thought it was something that you really had to sit and think about. So why question your self-esteem and how you carry yourself, pal? Your skin and your life is only one. Once you're gone, then you're gone. There ain't gonna be no other one. Other life, maybe, depending where your mind energy goes dimensionally. But spiritually, you better know your role. Calm your in controls and learn to have those demons exercise thorough. Because if they don't, they lose control, and then you lose control. And then who knows with this another life, if there is another life where your spirit's gonna go. Negativity attracts negativity. You die with a negative, that's where you're gonna be drawn and compatible to be. Bring yourself in a good nature and understand that everything's all easy. Life is only lived once. So for you to go out your way to try to get carried away is really crazy. Shit, if you take it for granted, then fuck it, off yourself. I think the world would be better off without your help. Especially if your mind is ready to dwell in the idea of sink or swim, but you went down to the bowels of hell. About now and up a bow to any man as well, because not one man in this world was meant to excel, to go light years ahead of his time. Lifespan, I don't care about technology. If I die, I die. But that's the beauty of life, poetic tragedy. Knowing at the end we can never control what is mercifully. What is technology also has a cap. It's a beyond dimensional experiment knowledge that somehow we can't adapt, which is why we're crazy, because the idea of power is always going to come to us because of the instincts that we actually devour. Animals, jungle, survival, instinct, something that we follow, but now subconsciously look at it as a reflex intentions. My recent infection of with the last conversation that I mentioned, to understand the ways to be human is to accept your imperfections. You can't perfect what never was perfected. You're an enigma in a box. You're not supposed to be defined with a definition. You give yourself truth to morals that have taught you, to the links of the grace of history that inspired those two. So now it's on you. So these tools set aside for you to try to live your life. Are you trying to really live it true? Are you trying to live it right? Or are you trying to misguide everyone with lies just so you could get paid, so you could survive another day to say that I got a pool in the house and I could go up to the moon whenever I want to? Fuck, I ain't gonna lie, that would be cool. But not off the price that I have to misguide you. See this? is not a talent. It's like talent is just almost like it's almost kind of natural but not natural. It's almost like you got the mind state for it. Talent is like I don't know. Like confidence to me is a mind state. It's not something that you're born with. Like strength, strength is almost like what you're born with. Like some people are meant to be willingly strong depending on their environment. And like when they're born, there's that it becomes second nature. Strength is strength to them. They're born strong. They already have that strong mindset when they're born. They're really disciplined to the point that they're sharp. They really, like that. Confident people are flawless. And confident people are very relaxed. Like they just go through life. Like they don't. I'm not really thinking too much. I'm aware. I'm calm, but I'm just chilling. That's what confidence means to me. Confidence is more like you're content with yourself, and whatever you do in life, you just know you can do the best you can. And if you can't, at least you could acknowledge the fact and say, well, confidently, I can't, but I'm willing to learn. Like I just not like now I got to a point in life now that I'm getting older, is that I have to stop putting my mind into people in terms of I'm always thinking about how bad people are, or how intended self-absorbed people are, selfish, or this, that, or how they don't appreciate their knowledge of intelligence, try to expand it, why they choose to be in this certain limit where they just feel comfortable. Why are you comfortable? This is not comfortable. It is comfortable. Because even when I'm uncomfortable, I'm still comfortable. Because I should have made moves way long ago. But I'm still here doing it just because I want to just be knowledge, noticed, to be like, yo, man, your shit actually inspires, your shit kills, I never heard something like that before. You belong this, you belong this, but you know what? We live in a society is if the money's not backing you up, you ain't shit. You don't give a fuck what you have to say. And that's how funny that it is, because you could be great. You could be up there with LL Cool J. You could have been up there with, you could probably make just as much hits as Drake or whatever, but nobody would acknowledge it only because there's nothing behind it besides the face. You need music, you need this, you need films, you need to see action to say like, yeah, you good, you nice, So I focus on skills on my life. I never focus on making videos, making tracks. I mean, I rap beats, obviously, but I only focus on just being ill. Like I wanted to be Lil Wayne mixtape ill. Like, sending out mixtapes and I get paid for them. That type of shit. But anyway, I could ramble all day, so let me just cut this off here. That's just what my basic mind state is at, especially when I talk about music or whatever. So stay tuned for more. And peace out. Be cool and follow you.